It's the way we see the world, yes it is. Put your hands up.
Welcome to Central Bay. Shake that bottle and make it.
This is Daniel Kandi.
Hello,
Daniel.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. First of all, let's say a little bit about how did you start in music? How did you start with trance?
Actually, it goes back to 1997 when I started with dance music. And it came for me to like start without a real sequencer for producing. I started out in something called Cool Edit Pro. And there was no like set BPM or whatever. You just had to do everything by hand. And my tunes therefore became in 135 BPM, 136 in the same track.
Yes.
It goes up and down because you had to do it by hand and I did not know how to do it. And then I moved over to PlayStation, started making dance trance there in 2000. And in 2001 or 2, I started listening to Above and Beyond. And I went to a school where they found me the program called Reason, made by the Swedish company called Propellerheads.
Yes.
And it's amazing software. They're now up to version number 6. It's gonna come out very soon in a couple of months. And I've stayed with Reason ever since. No VSTs or MIDI keyboards, just my mouse and my keyboard and Reason.
Which track was the first one that attracted the attention of the trance scene and you were thinking that this is the track that made the big boom for you?
Even before I knew what trance really was, Cygnus X, Superstring, was a huge track in like 2000, 99, 2000, 2001. And that really got to me. And then I started listening to Above and Beyond and their remix of Razorfish, Tranquility Base, their own little thing, you know. The Bangin' Mix was the first.
Amazing, eh?
That was one of the first tracks of trance I really heard. And after that, Far From In Love. Every producer evolves at some point, and
yes, exactly.
like even it's a good example. Like Sean Tyas was known for being really uplifting for many years,
and now he's going tech trance.
He's going tech trance and uplifting as well, but mixed again with all the progressive elements. And I think both me and Sean Tyas and Patterson has shown that we can do other stuff than just, you know, banging, uplifting, hands up in the air. It's about doing whatever you like, trying to do stuff that you know will work in a club or at a festival like this. And let's face it, uplifting trance is not as strong now as maybe 5 years ago. I would say that trance is moving towards more housey elements. So this is why today, for instance, I could see this is my debut in Belgium at Tomorrowland here.
Yeah.
And I felt people did not really go for the uplifting stuff. They wanted the heavy bass lines. So I had to look through my CDKs, you know, try and find this.
So did you find easy to understand what the people wanted from your sets when you're playing?
It was pretty easy to understand, but then I had to dig through my very unorganized CDKs. I need to organize it more. But in the end, I found some really good tunes, and you know, finished off with the Artsy remix. That track is so massive, and it's been played by virtually every DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
For the last half a year or something.
Exactly.
And,
From all the tracks that you have released on Anjuna Beats,
Yeah.
which one you think is your favorite, your top moment?
it's very mixed. It depends on what country you come to, because some countries really like my Nova release. Some people like Child, but I think Child is not really clubby. It's just a good trance track, very floaty, has a good melody, good chord progression. I felt this crowd, they didn't really want the uplifting sound, so I tried to keep it progressive. I would say for my remixes, at the moment, if I play in an uplifting place, it has to be Fight the Sunrise for Gareth Emery. Remember Me for Ben Preston. Like the very Ferry Corsten inspired sound for that one really works well in a lot of places because it has a massive square lead, and there's probably Cosmic 8 Human Beings.
Yeah,
They're
Human Beings, wonderful.
I wanted to show people, you know, I can make some techie stuff as well with it, the uplifting. So I tried to mix the inspirations from Simon Patterson and Sean Tyas into one track and make my own take on it. Therefore, the Human Beings remix was probably the biggest I've played many places over the last half a year.
Are you going to do any vocal tracks?
I'm talking to Ras Nitzen, who is a vocal writer for Armin
Many artists.
Many artists, but mainly for Armin van Buuren and Armada artists as well. And he just did, you know, Sun Gone Down by Protoculture.
Yeah.
Brilliant vocal track, and you know, he did Sound of Goodbye back in the day. That was a massive classic.
Yes, like we know him. He's amazing.
True. So
Big respect.
we are talking, me and my manager, to when we can have a vocal track from him, and we're starting to plan out what it should be style-wise. And it seems like it won't be too long. There will be actually a vocal track.
I think the most exciting thing in the trance scene was the news that you have your own label, Always Alive. Why this title for your label?
I don't know. I needed something with the two same vocals because it's easy to remember. If it's AA or BB, I don't know, like bouncing beats or whatever. But if it's two words and it's if it's uplifting at the same time, it's like Always Alive, and it came pretty easy to me.
Pretty
like
easy, yeah?
pretty easy. It took me about 10 minutes to find out of that thing in. It was, instead of calling it Daniel Kandi Trance Sessions, because everybody does sessions, podcast or whatever.
Exactly.
So Always Alive for me came natural, and it stuck, you know. So
exactly. And why did you decide to work with Enhanced Music and Will Holland, that he's so good on all his labels?
You know, I cannot tell you how many times he saved my ass. If I had to pay my rent and stuff, I would be like, Will, can you please help me? That was when I was building. Now, of course, all these problems are sorted. I have a good career. I travel around the world, and I don't really need the help to pay my bills anymore. It comes from all the tracks he released over the last 2-3 years. But he was a big starting factor for me when I was needing the most help as possible, and he's been a very big help for me. And I like what he does. You know, most of the releases on Enhanced is something I really do love from the bottom of my heart. I play the tracks, both if it's uplifting, progressive, whatever.
Yeah, I think everything he's releasing.
Honestly, he was the one that started the hype about Arty. Obviously now Arty is looking for making other more housey sounds as well. So he's moving over to Anjuna Deep or Anjuna main label. And I don't know where he's gonna stay, but Will has been like a good starter for many people. Like Estiva is a good friend of mine.
Is he? We love Estiva.
Yeah, he's a good DJ. He's a good producer. He has banging tunes,
and also Juventa, I think, is another.
Juventa, sorry, I forgot him. And Willem de Roo. Like, both guys are 16 and 17. No, Willem de Roo is just 18, and both of them are making massive tunes.
Yes.
It took me many years to master the sound, and now the kids nowadays have all the possibilities with the software. You can have like a laptop with really nothing, and Ableton or Cubase or Logic, and you can make big sounds.
Tell us a little bit about the kind of tracks that you are releasing on your label, because they are not the typical Daniel Kandi sound. They are something different. Tell us.
Truly, we wanted to, actually, we made the wrong kind of description at the start. We say we want to re-release stuff that are like very melodic and very uplifting and stuff like that. But we actually got so many progressive demos as well, and they were good tracks, and we were like, why can Always Alive not be about just good music, besides the fact that we have the uplifting Kandi sound, you know? So Johnny Ono Retaliate is a massive track. It's starting to climb on the Beatport chart. We just released it, and it got massive reaction here in the tent for about 2,500 people. And I'm just thinking, we should release whatever kind of style we like, if it's just within the niche of good music. I don't really care about styles. My manager, Philip Alpha, the co-owner of Always Alive, don't care about the styles as well. It's about having great music, and that's really all I can say, you know.
What other artists are we going to expect on Always Alive? Have you signed any new interesting names?
There's a new guy from the UK called Alex Wright.
Okay.
We're working on having his first single on the label as well. But he just had a major PC crash. So we're starting to retrieve samples and, you know, his setups. It's gonna be tough to get him on there. So it's gonna take a few months. Besides that, Johnny Ono, new star coming up from LA in USA.
Are we going to see any new singles from you on your label, on Always Alive?
We are. But like we saw, Don't Fix It and If It Ain't Broke, the good double A side, it does really well still on the charts. So, and like with Don't Fix It and Symphonica, the two tracks got a lot of DJ support from all the Dutch DJs, which is what I wanted to try.
It's the way we see the world, yes it is.